Now, I think we can all agree that the world has become a more dangerous place since Joe Biden was inaugurated U.S. president. But the question we have to ask now is, why? I mean, look at it. On Friday, Chinese forces committed their largest ever incursion into Taiwanese airspace, as worries grow by the day of a Chinese invasion of the Democratic Island Republic. Meanwhile, in the Middle East, Iran is on the march, with its rebel militias now attacking Saudi oil fields and building up a stockpile of missiles that has Israeli planners increasingly nervous about a potentially devastating conflict happening sooner rather than later. And here in Australia, officials are now also worried that with the U.S. seemingly in retreat under Joe Biden, they need to dramatically up defense preparations to counter threats from the north, i.e. China. So, why are things getting so hot so fast? Surely the U.S. is still big enough and ugly enough to warn off anyone planning anything truly dangerous, right? Well, not so fast, because the U.S. military, I am sorry to report, has fallen prey to invading armies of PC wokesters, human resources PowerPoint jockeys, and identity politics radicals. So instead of being on alert to fight foreign enemies, the U.S. military is now being used to ferret out domestic foes, i.e., anyone to the right of the Biden administration. It started with the militarization of the U.S. Capitol by the National Guard due to the supposed and now widely debunked threat of some further alt-right quote-unquote insurrection after Joe Biden's inauguration. It moved on to National Guard troops marching down the halls of Congress to criticize a Republican congresswoman after she made comments they didn't agree with. Then the Pentagon ordered a one-day stand-down of military forces across the globe to deal with the supposed problem of extremism in the ranks. Though those who participated in the training say that while the sessions were supposedly all about going after the alt-right, anyone who talked about Antifa or Black Lives Matter and brought up the violence done in the names of those organizations was quickly shut down. The sessions instead, many who participated report, were really about ferreting out anyone guilty of wrongthink on the right. And here's the sinister bit. It also encouraged servicemen and women to report one another to higher-ups if they caught them saying or expressing the wrong things or ideas or opinions. I mean, really, how long is it until the U.S. military goes down the road of the old Soviet Union, where political officers were always on hand to check everyone's thinking and overrule commanders on the ground? But it's not only those within their own ranks. The Pentagon is also going after private citizens. After Fox News' Tucker Carlson slammed America's increasingly feminized woke military, the Pentagon and many of its top generals launched a full-court press on social media to denounce Tucker Carlson a private citizen. And speaking of generals, have a look at the U.S. Special Operations Command's new chief of diversity and inclusion. Yes, you heard me right. Special Ops has a diversity and inclusion chief, and his name is Richard Torres Estrada. Now, where have we heard that name before? Oh, yeah. Here's that same Richard Torres Estrada on Twitter comparing Trump to Adolf Hitler. Honestly, at this rate, China won't need to defeat America on the battlefield if America under Biden keeps becoming more like China. And that's the danger. If you've been following me for any length of time, you know my motto: go woke, go broke. The U.S. military is increasingly going woke and falling for PC fads and identity politics and narratives that come straight out of the hard progressive left. And that means America's enemies from Beijing to Tehran are not just laughing, but planning. These are dangerous times, and thanks to Joe Biden, they're getting a lot more dangerous.